Hello and welcome to this Black Talk Radio News commentary. My name is Scotty Reed, broadcasting from behind the enemy lines of USA Inc. So I want to do a commentary about all of these news articles I keep seeing about, I believe her name is pronounced Samaria Rice, the mother of Tamir Rice, who has attacked everyone from Benjamin Crump to Tamika Mallory to the activists on the ground, and just striking out at any and everyone. So let me just preface this commentary by first saying that Tamir Rice died in 2014. And I hear people who are trying to excuse what she's saying as a grieving mother. That was back in 2014. How long does she get to grieve? And just because you have a family member who has been killed by police, how does that justify you to be able to just strike out at people? Why should she get a pass for, I would say, causing division in the movement, which she is not a part of? Why does she get to do that and nobody gets to push back on it? Well, I'm one who is going to push back on it. I'm always going to speak my truth, no matter who is for or no matter who is against. So let's go ahead. For those that's watching the video and those who are listening to the audio, I will be sharing a couple of articles on this issue and a couple of other things that I looked up. So the first story is from the Black Information Network, BIN News.com. Tamir Rice's mother calls out Tamika Mallory after Grammy performance. Now, let me say, I did not watch the Grammy. I was calling on people to boycott the Grammys, not just because of the ratchety performance of, what's her name, Cardi B, and just that whole exploitation of Black women that has been going on historically, exploiting them sexually and what have you, but also the artists that they feature in awards that they nominated people for that was talking about killing Black people or mistreating women, just full of misogyny and murder music, just so ratchet. And so, no, I haven't watched the Grammys in a very, very long time, but apparently after Tamika Mallory gave a Grammy performance, Samira Rice had a problem with that. Now, the only problem that I would have had is that this performance featuring the baby, who frequently talks about, perpetrating violence in the community. So if I'm going to call out Tamika Mallory, she had her father's son was murdered. And I don't think the murder was ever solved, not that I know of. But I would question her teaming up with these murder artists, these artists who all they talk about is killing and shooting or dealing drugs or giving women drugs to take advantage of them. So that would be my question, only question to Tamika Mallory. But this article, let me get a little bit into the article. Samira Rice, mother of Tamir Rice, took to social media to criticize Tamika Mallory, Ben Crump, and other well-known social justice activists following Mallory's appearance during Lil Baby's Grammy performance. The rapper performed this song, The Bigger Picture, during Sunday's award ceremony and featured a depiction of police brutality with Insecure actor Kendrick Sampson. Later in the performance, Mallory and Atlanta rapper Killer Mike appeared, with Mallory delivering a spoken word act. Samaria Rice reportedly posted to a Facebook account that People Insider and more previously reported as belonging to Rice, with strong rebuke of Mallory and others. Look at this clout chaser, she wrote. Did she lose something in this fight? I don't think so. The problem they take us for a joke. That's why we never have justice cause of SHIT like this. So let me say this. As a person who has been involved in raising awareness about racism and white supremacy, police brutality, and how it fits into legalized slavery through the 13th Amendment, which never abolished slavery. I haven't lost a daughter. I don't have any sons, but I've never lost a daughter to police violence. I haven't lost them. I have had a daughter assaulted by a person she was dating, but in terms of the police attacking her or anything of the sort, that has not happened. Obviously, my daughters are still alive. So you mean to tell me I had to lose somebody in my family to care about whether or not somebody kills a police officer, probation officer, a prison guard, or any slave catcher kills a person? I had to have lost someone in order to speak up on this. This is nonsense. This is straight up ignorance from this woman. Okay? Tamika Mallory has been an activist since she was 11 years old and part of the National Action Network. Say what you will about the National Action Network and its group of activists and what have you, but she has been a part of that since she was 11 years old. Okay, so before Tamir Rice's name was ever gunned down by Officer Timothy Loman, Tamika Mallory was out there raising these issues. And not only do she raise the issues about racism, white supremacy, police brutality, and what have you, but she also speaks out against the senseless violence in our community where we have all these Black boys and Black men killing each other. And not just killing each other, but killing other members of the community. Now, if I'm gonna say it anyway. Maybe if your son wasn't out there with a toy gun pretending like he's shooting people, like he hears on the radio, like we hear on the radio all the time, maybe he'd still be alive. Maybe he wouldn't be. It was no justification for him being gunned down. I saw the video. But for you to come out and try to blast on people like we supposed to have a dead family member in order for us to try to prevent the next person's family member from being killed. This is just straight up ignorance. And I'm not going for the grieving mother clutching her pearls card. Just give me a break on that. Okay? Give me a break on that. So she accuses people of profiting off of her son and profiting off of other people who have been killed by police. This is nonsense. I haven't seen Sean King, Tamika Mallory, Benjamin Crump, or not even Black Lives Matter Global, selling T-shirts or selling postcards or selling bumper stickers or selling posters with that child's face on it. What I have seen is a bunch of concerned people beginning in 2014, holding up his image on a poster that they made themselves, not bought from anyone, but made themselves to demand justice for your son. Her son, because I doubt if she's watching this. So you just sound like some ungrateful woman who is bitter over money, calling people clout chasers and man, what are you doing? What have you been doing in the years since your son was killed and you got that blood money, that $250,000, even though you didn't get any justice? But I digress. Let me move on. I don't think Benjamin Crump or any other activists she named own any of these shops. If you Google Tamir Rice and go to shopping, y'all, and people correct me if I'm wrong. Does any of the activists she named own Bonfire? Do they own Wiki Shirt? Do they own Society 6? Come on now. Society 6 again. What is this? Alien Design T-shirt, Mini Grift. Let me see. Sandy Desk Shop, Your Next T-shirt, Red Bubble. Again, Society 6, Mini Grift, Society 6, Bonfire.com. Who was this? Red Bubble. Any of the activists own or put these T-shirts on there, that's who you should be going after, is the black capitalists and the white capitalists, or it doesn't really matter what the skin color of the capitalist is that's actually capitalizing off of your son's name and image and other people's names and images that have been killed by police. If you so concerned about this, then go ahead and copyright Tamir's image and his name, and then you can charge people and get a cut, get a royalty check for every T-shirt sold. But I have not seen Benjamin Crump selling T-shirts, Tamika Mallory selling T-shirts, Sean King selling T-shirts. I've never sold a T-shirt for my organization, Black Talk Media Project, with your son face or name on it, or anybody's face or name on it. Okay? This is just absurd. And what about the clout chasing of Hillary Clinton? When she was parading all those dead mothers, I noticed there weren't any fathers, because maybe the fathers had sense enough not to endorse a woman who had called the Tamir Rices of the world super predators and backed Joe Biden's bill to criminalize black bodies, black and brown bodies, and increase our presence and our numbers on the prison plantation. Also, putting all these slave catchers in our communities who aren't really protecting us from any crime, but, you know, shooting us down in the streets. Okay? So here, as you can see, for those that's watching the video, this is what? Cleveland.com. Hillary Clinton meets with Tamir Rice's mother. Samaria Rice, mother of Tamir Rice, speaks to the media in June during a protest outside of the Cleveland Police Patrolmen's Association lounge. Hillary Clinton met Monday in Chicago with the mother of Tamir Rice, the 12-year-old shot and killed by a Cleveland police officer nearly a year ago. Samaria Rice said an aide to the Democratic presidential hopefuls campaign was among a group of mothers and family members whose loved ones' deaths have spotlighted the epidemic of gun violence and a sense of distrust that too often exists between law enforcement and communities they serve. Serve my ass patrol. Others who met with Clinton included Sabrina Fulton, whose son Trayvon Martin, 17, was unarmed when killed by a neighborhood watch volunteer 3 years ago in Florida, and Leslie McSpadden, whose son Michael Brown was killed by a police officer last year in Ferguson, Missouri. Both were high-profile cases. Tamir's case was too. And why was Tamir's case so high-profile? Because of the activists that you calling out, telling his story over and over, organizing protests in the streets, putting their lives on the line to try to help you get justice for your son. And not just help you, but help us all, because these are all our sons and daughters. Let me see. Clinton has discussed Tamir's case while calling for criminal justice reform, and she mentioned his name in August at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland. The former U.S. Secretary of State mentioned Monday's meeting on Twitter. Grateful to spend time today with mothers who have lost a child to violence and turned into grief into a national call to action. After the meeting, Samaria Rice told a reporter that she felt Clinton understood where we were coming from, according to CNN. It doesn't matter what color we are. I felt that she really understands where we are coming from. Really, the woman who labeled black boys and brown boys as super predators in trying to justify her husband, Bill Clinton, who was president at the time, signing Joe Biden's signature legislation into law, using all that racist language, shows how much you really knew about Hillary Clinton and why you didn't call her a clout chaser or raising money for her presidential campaign using your son's name. Tell the truth, shame the devil. All right. So let's go to another article. This one also from Cleveland.com. Cleveland agrees to pay $6 million over fatal shooting of Tamir Rice. The city of Cleveland agreed to pay $6 million in 2 yearly installments to settle a federal lawsuit over the November 2014 fatal shooting of 12-year-old Tamir Rice by a police officer. The city will pay $3 million to Rice's family this year, with another $3 million in 2017, a court filing in U.S. District Court in Cleveland revealed Monday. According to terms of the one-page agreement, most of the money will be allocated to Rice's estate, where Rice's mother and sister will each receive $250,000. There also won't be any admission of wrongdoing, U.S. District Judge Dan Polster wrote in the settlement. So tell me again about blood money. Tell me again, and this isn't the first time that I have discussed, because I remember a conversation with one of my friends in the abolitionist movement that's seeking to end 21st century slavery and human trafficking, where he was upset with these families keep getting all these millions of dollars of settlements from taxpayers, and then these families not getting justice, not only for their own son or daughter, but they don't even make a requirement of the settlement any kind of substantial change to policing. No requiring body cams, no this, no that, no what do they call that? No implicit bias training, nothing. You just took the money. You just took the money, and they didn't have to agree. They didn't have to say we were at fault. That Timothy Loman, this cop who should have never been on the force, considering he was fired, and his previous police department supervisor said that he was too immature and too unstable to even work in law enforcement, but he goes to another city and get a job. Okay. Now, let me see if there's anything else in here I want to cover. And I will also point out all of these news articles that have been published using his image, using the video of his death. Why aren't you accusing them of profiting off of your son's name? You have to pay some of these subscriptions. You look at these websites and they have ads. I see I'm blocking the ads on PBS, but yeah, they have ads and stuff on them. Next story. This is from BuzzFeed News. Family of Tamir Rice wants to drop prominent lawyers from Cleveland case. So Benjamin Crump was one of the attorneys that the family hired. And in this particular article, they actually had filed a motion to try to get some charges using an obscure law in Ohio to force them to put that killer cop on trial. Now, then whatever issues happen behind the scenes, which I think Benjamin Crump and the other attorneys that was representing the family at first maybe didn't want to drop Tamir's father from it because he didn't get a settlement. And then so you drop Ben Crump and all the others, and then you go and you hire some other civil rights attorneys, and then you agree to a deal that netted you $250,000, and they didn't even have to admit to doing anything wrong. What issue do you have with Ben Crump? Okay, we're not privy to everything that went on behind the scenes, and just taking one side or listening to one side. She calls him an ambulance chaser. Ain't none of these other families that Benjamin Crump has represented or his firm has represented that these families contact them. They're not out there chasing ambulances and stuff like that. But none of them have had complaints about the service that they received. Okay, so this is crazy, but let me see. Let me go down. At one time, y'all was thanking Benjamin Crump. Let's see, move down. Last month, Cronk Park in Madison evoked a rarely used Ohio law that allows people to request criminal charges against others and asking a Cleveland municipal judge to consider charging Loman in Garnback. Judge Ronald Adrian issued a statement declaring that there was probable cause to charge Loman with murder and Garnback with manslaughter, but cautioned that the final decision rested with the Cayuga County prosecutor, Timothy McGinty, who in turn said he would put the case before a grand jury. That was because of the work of Benjamin Crump and them finding this obscure law rarely used to force the issue. And you out here throwing dirt on this man's name, talking about he was making strategic decisions without your input or whatever. Well, that's your side of it. I can't dispute that. But I noticed Benjamin Crump ain't saying nothing about it because maybe he don't want to embarrass you, because you don't seem to be that intelligent, and maybe you just so grief-stricken that you can't think straight. But I don't know what you could have done differently. What did he do that was so wrong, or these group of attorneys? But then you hire another group of attorneys and you agree to not require them to admit to doing anything wrong or to put any kind of new policy and procedures in place as a condition of that one-page agreement that you signed and took the money. You are the only one. Well, I'm not going to say you're the only one who has profited from his death, but all these other capitalists who are selling T-shirts with his image and what have you. You're striking out at the wrong people. If it wasn't for activists in the street holding up posters of your son, if it wasn't for Benjamin Crump doing the work that he was doing and going to the media and putting the pressure on, you wouldn't have gotten no settlement whatsoever. This is just ungrateful, just being ungrateful and nasty. And I will not be quiet about it. I tell you what, though, I do recommend that we stop talking about Tamir Rice. Don't talk about him no more. There are plenty other victims that we can use as an example to show what a crooked, corrupt system we have. Okay, so don't bring them up. Could you imagine Emmett Till's mom saying something? Hey, don't publish these, don't take no pictures of my son in his open casket, which she did on purpose to show how brutal these white supremacists are in murdering my son. Could you imagine her telling activists of that day, hey, don't try to get justice for my son. Don't use his name. Y'all just trying to profit. Give me a break, man. This just angers me. This angers me. It really does. But I can tell you, this is the last video I will ever do mentioning Tamir Rice's name. May he rest in peace, and may we continue to fight to make sure that we have no more Tamir Rices, although we've had plenty of them since 2014, and I haven't heard Samaria Rice speak out about any one of them. This has been Scotty Reed with the Black Talk Radio News Commentary. Please support the production of independent Black media. Make a tax-deductible donation today to the Black Talk Media Project via blacktalkradionetwork.com.